Be back, this is hot. Hey guys, I'm Jayce. Welcome back to Farmstead Forge. Today I'm going to take you through the steps to build a set of V-bit tongs. V-bit tongs are great for round stock or square stock. I'm going to size these for 3/4 today because for two reasons. I use a lot of 3/4 round sucker rod. Keep saying that. All the budget anvils out there usually have close to 3/4 hardy shanks, or hardy hole. So I want to build hold hardy shanks with these. So let's get started. Okay, my first step is just basically like a flat jaw tong. I'm gonna come in here to 1.5 inches off the edge of my anvil. A little bit of an angle, so when I set it down, it seats right in there. Sucker rod likes to slip around on you a little bit. Half on, half off, I'm gonna drive that down. I'm gonna take it down to about 3/8 of an inch, that jaw, or bit. I'm only gonna film one side of each of these because tongs are made exactly the same, and we'll put them together in a minute. That's all I'm gonna do for that step. We will come back in when we get our reins drawn and we'll thin this out and refine it. I just want something solid to hold on to. I'm gonna come in at a 45 with my boss step facing towards the edge into my anvil. I'm gonna give it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, drive it on, half off, drive that jaw down, and that will give me my boss. If you're too far back, you get a lot of clearance with your boss, but it's really weak, and if you're too far forward, your boss will smash up into there and you have a lot of hot rasping to do. So right 1/8 of an inch, a 45, drive it down. My boss area to be just a little bit thicker than 3/8 of an inch. So I want my reins right about 3/8 of an inch. Much thinner than that, you get a lot of spring, especially with a mild steel. I want to mark right about 1 inch back for my boss. It gives you a nice tidy little boss. And I'm just going to mark that on the edge of my anvil, so when I come out, I can slide it right to the edge of my anvil, half on, half off, and I'm going to drive that down. I'm also getting kind of a twist to my jaw. I'll probably put this in the vise, twist that back just so it keeps it nice and straight here in a minute when we go to draw out the reins. You just want to keep checking all the time to make sure everything's looking the same. You know, what you've pounded back is almost the same, your length is all the same. Just keep it the same all the time, and then you won't have to try to fix it all later. Find my mark. I'm gonna keep checking it to make sure you're still staying, not getting too thin. I'm gonna get one more heat in that, do it one more time. Alright, I'm where I want to be. Now I got to draw out my reins. If you don't have a power hammer, of course, you're going to have to do it over your horn or the edge of your anvil. You can check out my video of me drawing out reins on a set of pickup tongs, and we'll post a card to that right up here. Alright, now that we got our reins where we want them, I just hemmed these and took the sharp edge off on my power hammer. If you want, you can do that on the horn of your anvil and clean it up, or you can hot rasp it. If you like round reins, you can take them to octagon and make them round. I personally like square reins, I just like the feel of them. Power hammers are nice, but when you screw up, you screw up. My rein bounced up and hit my little block I have on there for my width. I should have maybe initialed that, like you do a check when you mess it up, just so everybody can see it. But anyway, I'll have to live with it. So now we are going to come in. You just want to make sure that your boss is always thicker than your reins, so your reins don't bind up on these type of tongs. We're going to come in and we're going to clean this jaw up. When you set it back in like this, it cleans that up a bunch. We're going to clean it up a little bit here. Just remember, don't get your boss too thin. Clean it up here a little bit. And then I need to get this jaw a lot thinner and a little wider. So we're going to work on that. with a V-bit tong, you can get your jaw fairly thin because all your strength is in your angle. So and then it's a lot easier to finish it out. Alright, so just always make sure that you keep checking everything to make sure everything is looking symmetrical. Everything's looking about where I want it. I'm going, well, these wound up being about an inch and a quarter, maybe a little shy. And then not quite a quarter inch thick, so probably a little thinner than that. But anyway, now I'm going to go ahead and punch my rivet hole. That's kind of a, do you want to do your V-bit first and punch your hole? And either way you can screw something up, so I guess whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to go ahead and punch my hole. Now, rivet placement, I want a wider jaw gap in my jaws because I'm doing thicker stuff. So I'm probably going to try to punch my rivet a little toward the edge just to give me that width. If you wanted narrower stuff, of course, you could punch it a little farther to the outside there, and that would get you narrower. Ideally, you want it right in the center, and then if you go to re-rivet these someday, you have that extra bit to work with. So remember, when we punch our rivet, we always have this edge facing down. So we punch our hole down, come back up to knock our source out. It's relatively flat over top your pritcher hole. Black shiny spot. Sure I'm coming through straight. You can feel it start to go. Alright, for forming my jaw, I have a V-swage. It's 2 inch pieces of square stock all welded together that work good for this. I also have a swage block that would actually work a little better because it's a little wider. But if you don't have all of that, you might have to get creative. You might have to do it in a post vise, or if you do have an anvil with a step on it, you can come in with a cross peen and set it in there. I'm going to come in today and start it with a cross peen, and then I have this big punch And we'll finish driving it down in with that. I have a little bit of burr on my jaw right here. I might hit that with a hot rasp before I do my jaw, just so they set nice. And then we'll have to do some more rasping before we rivet up. Make sure you're keeping it straight. And hit right in the center. Sometimes I will flip-flop, just so if I'm doing something a little odd, that's correct in itself. Twist to that, so we're going to throw that in post vise, fix it. Before we rivet these puppies up, we want to make sure we're clearing everywhere. Little adjustments after we get done riveting, but I'm pretty clear all through there, which is it's a nice tight gap, so it's strong, but you have clearance. But there's a lot of this unsightly stuff that will hot rasp up that just kind of looks nasty. My rivet wants to live there. And then we'll round off all these edges so there's nowhere for it to bind once they're riveted up. Anything you want to clean up now, you need to clean up now. Alright, so we're ready to rivet up. Just make sure when you rivet you don't have a gap between your boss, so your rivet will mushroom out between, and you gotta start over. Make sure everything is nice and clear. I have one jaw that's a touch longer than the other one, but I'm gonna wait to clean that up until I get everything straightened up, and then I'll probably just do it on my belt sander. And then we'll do a final size. Alright, now they're all locked up, and now we'll heat them back up, we'll free them up, and then we'll size them. If you've noticed, I put a score mark on the side that I pound down in, and that is to keep your rivet sitting in one spot so your rein flows around your rivet. After a while, tongs will, that rivet will get a wear spot in it and then they catch on you. So it just annoys me, so I do the farrier thing and set the rivet into it. Spread my reins just a tiny bit. Back, this is hot. Alright, now my jaws are just a touch off, so I'm going to go ahead and hit those on the belt sander and just touch them up and around my corners over just a tiny bit while I got some heat in there. And I'll put a nice bevel on this edge just so when you come in you can swoop something right up. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on building these very basic V-bit tongs. My last set I did upset about 1/4 of an inch into the jaws, but it wasn't necessary. This set turned out just fine. For my loyal fans, I did bring back the star of the show. It cost me a lot to get him here today, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. If you did like it, check out my tong tutorials. We have a whole bunch of different style of tongs and many more to come. I'm so excited to be back in my shop after having no power all summer. It's just great to be back with some power. Do you guys want to take a quick peek of the new shop? Okay. Alright, old shop, just a little old garage built in the 40s. And then we just built right onto the old one. This is a 40 by 40 and 16-foot sidewalls, so it should be pretty fun. So a lot of work still yet, but anyway, we will see you in the next one.